You ready, homie?
Let's do this.
All right. Don't say f***.
I'm trying not to.
Don't say so. I mean, you can say f***, but don't say that.
We'll figure it out.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Coach's Sons podcast. I want to start off by saying, yes, I guessed the result of the World Series correctly. It was 4-1 Texas. I just want everyone to remember, because it's been a while, that I was correct 100%.
You didn't win $1.
I didn't win a single dollar.
How do you not bet that?
But I am correct.
Not betting that is... It's against the law. You should be right in jail.
Anyways, I completely agree with you. But welcome, everyone. We are absolutely blown away right now. It is December 7th. We were recording after the winter meeting. So if anything breaks after that, no, we're going to post it all over our social media. But just wanted to give you a date on when we're recording this. We are so blown away by just the amount of people that have given us feedback and listened to our show already. It's just been a lot of fun to watch, and we appreciate the support, and we look forward to this roller coaster we hopefully will be on for the future. My name's Andrew. I'm a part of the Coach's Sons, and this is my partner.
And I'm Chris. Yeah, you heard me talk on the first one. I'm just going to mimic Andrew here. It's kind of ridiculous. You know,
understatement.
You start, and I texted so many people, right? So off the top of my head, maybe 50, maybe 60, I don't know.
200.
And it could have been, but over 100 people listen. And I know it's not a lot, right, in the big scheme of all this. But 100 people press play, whether or not they took an hour and 20 minutes to listen to us just blabber about something that happened 2 months ago, is just crazy to me. So now the goal is to just grow, right? Onwards and upwards.
100%.
We got you in, you listened, and whether or not you did it as a favor, I still appreciate it. I do not care. That doesn't bother me. I appreciate you even doing me the favor, even if that's the only thing you listen to. Mm-hmm. But if you're back for number 2, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Welcome.
We will keep coming with these. Our goal is to release on Fridays. Every Friday, not so much as of right now. But if you keep listening, we'll keep coming. Andrew and I just kept checking numbers like crazy. And again, we're talking about 100. Can you imagine if we got this thing even higher?
Yeah. It's going to be really fun when we get like 10 plays next time. But, you know, it is one of those things that's been fun to just kind of watch something happen. Because we made the joke in the first episode that 7 people will listen. And that's literally the number I expected to see. And so when it was higher than that, it was really, really awesome. So what we're going to try to do is, like Chris said, probably every other Friday we're going to have a show release. It's going to be tougher during the off season, but hopefully we'll find plenty to talk about. So Fridays, check wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple's, Spotify, Google, Amazon, just any of the Podbeam, which is what we use. So any of those, you can find us. Please like, subscribe, follow, leave reviews. That's a big deal when it comes to algorithms. You've heard any podcaster ask for this. We're going to do the same thing because we want this to grow, and we want to continue to have fun and do something that we enjoy, which is talking about baseball. Speaking of baseball, winter meetings. I think everyone was jacked. They can't wait, and it started terribly slow. I mean, not for us, and we'll get to why it didn't start slow for us, but for everyone else, it was a very boring winter meeting until the very end.
That's right. I mean, you think NBA free agency, we're going to go off on a quick tangent already, but NBA free agency, it's like it's 8 p.m. on Thursday, and there are, I mean, you know, based on how they do it, there's deals 3 days before that. It's news all the time. And here it's just Ken Rosenthal and John Morosi just trying to trying to pull strings and write anything they can. I mean, they're mad at Shohei because he hasn't picked yet because they have nothing to write about. So from an outsider perspective, a very dull couple of days. It ended with a bang. We're going to get into that here very shortly. But overall, I mean, not very successful. What, maybe like 6 deals made? One blockbuster,
yeah,
but 6 deals or something along those lines.
I mean, if 6 meaningful deals, I don't think is even correct. I think there may have been 3 or 4 that will be impactful. The rest of them, not really. The blockbuster, of course, we're talking about Soto. That's a big deal, right? He is the big whale outside of Ohtani.
Before we get any further on the Soto talk, is the evil empire back?
All right, so I don't want to have this conversation because I don't want to say
we are. It's time.
Because here's the problem: they also made the move for Verduga. They got Soto, and now they are heavily connected to Yamamoto still. And if they don't get him, they're now connected to a bunch of other pitchers that are aces as well. So it's tough not to say yeah, because you look at that lineup in that tiny baseball field, and you go, well, they're going to beat the doors off of a lot of people for sure.
I think it's just safe to say that they are very close to all the way back. There's been, at least my childhood, I wasn't a Yankees fan. A lot of close friends of mine are.
I was going to make this reference, I think. Go ahead.
And they just won. That's all they did. They spent money when nobody else did. It was them and the Red Sox, and the Red Sox couldn't beat them, right? So it was the Yankees. It didn't matter.
No, I was going to say it feels very much 90s Yankees, where any and every big free agent name ends up as a Yankee.
So that's what I'm saying. They have to be back, right? Like, I just looked at, bear with me on specific numbers, but I was screwing around with the luxury tax stuff. And for those not familiar, super quick spin-off, it's basically the owners will just get taxed a percentage for every dollar amount they go over. It's kind of like a soft salary cap. But
very soft.
It's $237 million this year, I believe. And the last projected I saw was $278 for the Yankees. I don't know if that means like, oh, they're going to go sign so-and-so, but they're at like, they have these arbitration deals and stuff, but they're going to be well over this luxury tax.
Yeah.
The Yankees were criticized for somewhat being cheap, which is weird because, they've
not very Yankee.
They got Stanton. All these guys that are older have a lot of money tied to them. LeMahieu, Rizzo, Stanton, but everybody's just going to talk about Stanton. That guy stays healthy, they're a problem.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. They're back in a big way. They're coming for everybody. And if we're going to get there, but there's no way the Blue Jays get Ohtani. I'm over that. I won't even.
That's one of those mini fluff pieces.
I won't even get there. But you think right now, like as it sits today, the Yankees aren't better than the Orioles? Like, sure, the Orioles are younger, but you're talking Cole, you're talking Nestor Cortez, you're talking Carlos Rodon. And then that lineup, you got 2-3 in Judge and Soto. Juan Soto is one of the best hitters of all time right now. He's like, 24 years old?
Yeah.
Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge. He stays healthy. That's a ridiculous person to have to deal with. Can't just walk him to get to Soto. The only thing is you're going to walk Soto too, so it's on whoever's after him.
Stanton.
And he's either he might hit a 120 mile an hour laser beam,
mile an hour,
600 feet out of the stadium. He might take a shortstop's head off, and he's going to strike out 250 times.
Right. Well, I mean, it's all or nothing with that guy. But I mean, that's the threat, right? It's let's just not miss, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I saw another fluff piece that basically was saying the Yankees are willing to go to $300 million. Right?
They're coming.
Like whether that's true or not, it feels true because it's the freaking Yankees.
Is it possible to both hate and love it at the same time?
Well, we know you love it because you want teams to spend money. You don't like, you don't like the underdog story of these players. So.
Yes, spend the money. But I hate that it's the Yankees doing it.
No, I agree. It's weird. Why now? Right, because it feels like the Yankees hadn't really done that in a while. But I mean, I guess that's not true. Like, because they got Rizzo, they got Stanton, they
just added $25 million or okay, whatever. Take those couple guys off. Let's say $20 million. They just added $20 million in payroll. They're supposedly, again, all the reports you see, they're not out on Yamamoto.
No.
And I've seen a 3 hanging out in front of his final contracts.
Good Lord.
Like, we're talking $300 million for that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 25, sure, but like, you plug him in as he's your number 2, Maybe like if Rodon ever comes back normal, like they're a solid team. I hate to say it. I love what they did. Yeah. And the Verdugo thing is weird, right? We're like, that's not even in the Soto deal. That's not even newsworthy,
right?
Verdugo's fine. He's going to play the outfield. He's better than Aaron Hicks that they were trotting out there.
Saying he's fine is an understatement. I mean, he was basically the best player on the Red Sox the past couple of years.
I disagree. It's Devers.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. He's the top 2 player on the Red Sox.
I still disagree, but we'll move on. Verdugo's fine. He'll play. Again, the Yankees were giving Aaron Hicks time last year. Mm-hmm. So if he's a plug and play, he's an everyday player, he's decent, he'll be fine.
Yep.
That's not the deal, but it's Soto, man. It's like a generational talent. And what did they give up? Like, I want to touch on that really quick. This whole thing almost fell apart because of Michael King. And I'm sorry, if Michael King ever listens to this podcast, he'll probably want to punch me out. But, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
The deal almost fell apart because the Yankees were like, no.
We want this guy.
He's fine. He's a 28-year-old reliever for the most part.
Yeah.
And he's good. I'm not saying he's bad. So the idea is he's going to be this just like elite starter. He had 6 very good starts at the end of the year. I will give him that. He was very good.
I mean, there's potential there.
But he's 20. Like, is he going to? All of a sudden, he threw a few starts and he's Jacob deGrom in his prime.
Right.
Like, what? He was the headliner person. Like, yeah, they got all these. The Drew Thorpe's supposed to be good. He pitched his ass off in the minors. Brito's there. I don't know much about him. But it's like...
it's a good question, right? The Padres are resetting, right?
Sure.
So
but
the Padres already have a great farm system, so they're just adding to it. So you just kind of wonder what's next from the Padres side. You know what I mean?
Well, they're resetting, but they're not. Like, until they move one of the other guys. You still have Tatis, you still have Machado, you still have Bogarts.
Yep.
I mean, not much of a smart decision, but they're paying Jake Cronenworth a boatload of money.
Yeah.
But... Again, if the Padres' idea was to get pitching, they got pitching in bulk. They got a ton of them.
Yep.
So if the thought process is one of these guys pans out, they've got a shot. I'd be flabbergasted if it's Michael King. Mm-hmm. But hey, maybe it works out. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Michael King gets to give me a middle finger.
Maybe the play is he's the one who pans out at the beginning, and then one of these younger guys becomes the ace later.
Maybe.
I mean, who knows? And it's obvious the Padres are a mess. They have a bunch of superstars that couldn't play together, and so they had to do something. But it feels like they just gave it away. You know what I mean? And it's hard not to feel that. But whenever there's a big superstar trade, unless it's like 2 superstars switching sides, it always feels lopsided. And this one feels lopsided as hell.
Yeah, again, generational talent. It's always going to be lopsided. You're never going to get enough.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. And I actually said this on somebody's X, excuse me, I almost said Twitter.
I'm going to call it Twitter.
Yeah, we're going to keep calling it Twitter here.
Twitter,
sorry.
X Twitter, who cares?
Yeah, it's all the same. But there was some notation or somebody had commented and said, they tried. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Mm-hmm. Like, again, coming from my background of I want these teams to spend, I will never fault you for trying.
Right.
Who is ever going to fault somebody for going to get Juan Soto?
Yeah.
I would never be mad at you.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, he's a great ball player.
And guess what they did? It didn't work. He's going to walk in free agency to wherever, and they got something. Is it the best package in the world? No, but clearly nobody else. The Yankees have been the only team tied to him for the last week. Yeah. There hasn't been a mystery team that came out of nowhere. It was the Yankees. Mm. This is the only deal they had. They got out of that money, or got out under that contract. They got something for the guy who wasn't coming back. And it is what it is. They tried, it didn't work. I don't know where they go from here with Machado and Tatis. Like their pitching went like Snell's not coming back. Right. I think Walker's gone. If Walker was even, I don't even know where the hell he was this year. Tampa or there. And I'm okay with it. And they keep moving on.
They were like, we're going to keep up with the Dodgers, and they got the biggest name in baseball at the time, and then couldn't keep up with the Dodgers. So they tried. Moving on. I think the question is, real quick before we move on, because there's a bunch of other things that we want to talk about. Do we think Soto will stay in the pinstripes?
Well, that's the thing. If the Yankees think they gave up, everything, which they really didn't. These guys were like, I don't know, 5th and 12th and 20th of their top 30 maybe. Again, I'm not even looking at that particular point.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Yankees fans will be upset if they don't.
Yep.
Well, let me put it this way. Championship heals everything. So, if they go win it, doesn't matter what happens.
Man,
it does not matter. I know, but it doesn't matter. You sell your soul to the devil for one championship.
Yeah, you're right.
And it sounds weird to say from a franchise that's got 27, but that's what you do. Mm-hmm. And if you come out the other side and Soto's still on your team for the next, he's 24.
Is he really only 24?
Yes.
Oh, man. That's so nuts. He's so young.
And people just I don't know why he keeps getting traded. It's got to be a money thing, which is ridiculous to begin with.
It does feel weird that we're talking about a generational talent that can't seem to find a home.
The guy gets on base 40% of the time.
Yeah, well, just think about it. So, Harper recently moved, but Harper was Washington the whole time, and then he'll be in Philly forever. Trout hasn't moved. Generational talent just feels like, why is he not staying somewhere? And I wonder, is it Soto, or is it just everyone's afraid to pay Soto what he's actually worth?
Yeah, he's probably
Which feels unlikely because it's baseball. They have unlimited money. You know what I mean?
He's got a 3 in front of his name. Yeah, probably when it comes time, right? Like he's a free agent. He's gonna be 24, 25 years old.
Yep.
If he's willing, a Bryce Harper contract with a little bit more isn't out of the question.
Oh, I agree.
Like 13 years, like $400 million.
Yeah,
that is not out of the question.
Yep.
I don't even know what that is annually, but that's the contract I'm offering him tomorrow. 13 years, $400 million. Yeah. Here's the paper. You tell me what you want to do.
I'm interested to see how quickly the Yankees pull the trigger on making him permanent. Do they wait? ASAP. Do they wait to win a championship, or they do it immediately?
Spread out that money.
Yeah, I think they make it happen immediately. But okay, we've talked a lot about Soto. So there's another big thing that happened for us. Do you want to go there first, or do you want to talk about some of the others not so?
Well, you just teased headlines. This giant story that
guys, I cannot tell you. Let me set this up. Okay, so for all you who listen, if this is your first time, welcome. But I am a diehard Atlanta Braves fan. Chris is a diehard Seattle Mariners fan. We went to go see the Braves and the Mariners play in Atlanta, and Chris has the biggest man crush on one player. And that player is now an Atlanta Brave. And I didn't believe the headline. I dropped my phone, and then I checked in on Chris, like, are you okay? And then bragged about it.
I am in a better mental state than I was 4 days ago. So I'm going to hold this podcast hostage for a few minutes while I get on my soapbox about what happened.
Before you get on your soapbox, let me say one thing. It is a brilliant move by the Braves because Kelenic fits our MO. Young, talented, full of potential, like gifted. It is such our team got substantially better by adding Kelenic. Thank you, Manners. All right, go ahead.
He's patronizing me, and I don't like it.
Maybe a little.
Jared Kelenic was one of my favorite players on Seattle. If you scroll back to my, to the season, some of my personal tweets are just all about Kelenic. I believe there's been a few times that I've called him my Lord and Savior.
Just keep this in mind. He would text me and our group of friends every time Kelenic hit a home run. That's how much he loved this guy.
So to say I'm upset, sad is an understatement. What the Seattle Mariners are doing makes zero sense. It's a salary dump that they needed to put Kelenic in the deal to make happen, right? They put in Marco Gonzalez. They put in Evan White. Evan White hasn't played a Major League Baseball game in like 3 years. He won a Gold Glove, has been horrendous at the plate. I guess he's been injured. I hope him the best. Marco Gonzalez got traded to the Pirates. He'll sink on that ship up there
immediately.
3 minutes after he didn't even get to Atlanta. He was in Pittsburgh. God bless him. The Mariners, I don't even know who they got back. Some, single A prospect and another reliever who with Seattle will probably end up with a 2.5 ERA or something. But we're here to talk about Kelenic. I'm going to get there, I promise. It makes no sense. They have Dom Canzone and Cade Marlowe, right? Like I'm gonna talk Seattle here for a second. The Mariners went into the season. They need to replace Teoscar. They needed a DH or first baseman. Ty France is there, but we could use a replacement there. Mm-hmm. So they need to replace Teoscar. They need a first baseman / DH, and a second baseman would be nice. And what they did was they traded Kelenic, so now they need another outfielder. And not to mention they traded Suarez. We'll get there in a second because we're going to talk Diamondbacks because I like what they're doing. And they're just screwing Seattle out of people. But again, we'll get back there. Moving Kelenic makes no sense. They're just creating more holes just to dump salary. And they're not replacing anybody. I hoped that because we're doing this podcast 4 days later, that I'd be able to come here and say, man, I love Jared. I wish him the best. But you know what? We got so-and-so. At this point, I don't even know who that is. I don't know. Because they're talking like they're crying poor, which I already hate. And everybody here that came back and everybody now needs to know that I hate cheap owners with a passion. Stanton is the head guy. However, there's a conglomerate of them. They're all cheap. I hate them all. They need to sell the team. They're talking like they're not going to be replacing this talent. So that's enough about the Mariners. I'll try to refrain from them for the time being. Talking now, Kelenic's impact on the Braves. It's weird that the first thing they came out and said was he's going to platoon with Vaughn Grissom in left field. I don't get it. It makes no sense. Kelenic, if you give him full time, he's going to perform. Mm-hmm. I think, off the top of my head, he might have been like a 2-WAR guy. He got hurt for a little while. He got hurt
because he kicked like.
He's got anger issues. He cares. The man cares. The man cares about baseball, and he loves to hunt. If you'd follow him on Instagram.
Yeah. But him and Austin Riley are gonna get along really well.
Oh, that's weird, but that makes sense. That's fitting.
We buddies.
But he's going to fit in. You said it. He's going to fit in. Mm-hmm. He's not in Seattle. He had to be the guy. If Kelenic came up, whether they bat him 5th, he comes up. You need him to do something. Yeah. In Atlanta, he's going to bat like 8th. You want to know who benefited from that in batting in Atlanta? Orlando Arcia. He was an all-star. Mm-hmm. Arcia he's good. Is he an all-star? No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
He's
like literally he's an all-star. Okay, Chris.
You get my point. Kelenic's going to be able to perform because he has way less pressure. Yeah. He's going to hit 7th or 8th in the order. Mm-hmm. Hell, they could even hit him 9th and he could turn it over. He's not going to slow down Acuna. He steals bases.
Right. No,
he's going to be. You ready? Bold take. He's going to be a over 3.5 win player according to Baseball Reference next year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be sad.
So I think the Grissom thing, to be quite honest with you, and I don't have much love for Grissom, but I do think it's a play to make him look more valuable than he actually is.
That could be it.
Because I mean, we've tried. He's at best a backup player, right? So I don't know. I think, to be honest with you, with hopefully moving on from Ozuna, I would think. Rosario, I don't think we've picked up his option yet. So there's definitely options in the outfield, right? And so, which I don't think we pick up Rosario, which is why they say he's going to platoon out there. I would rather them get rid of Grissom and keep Rosario if they're going to platoon anybody, right? But I don't think that's going to happen.
If they make a trade for anything, a pitcher or something like that, Grissom's gone.
Completely.
He's the first name. He might not be like the head.
Kelenic a lefty?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why it's not going to be Rosario. Okay, gotcha.
Not so fast, my friend. Kelenic. That's why. But Kelenic hits lefties just as good as righties.
Yeah, but you like him a lot.
It's statistically proven. This isn't Fugazi. I didn't make it up.
Right. Well, I mean, end all be all. He's going to be a great fit for the team. I definitely feel for you because
it's sad.
It sucks.
I'm defeated.
And it kind of also says that you guys are not in a sweepstakes for somebody else.
It does. It does.
And we're talking about Ohtani.
I am officially ruling the Seattle Mariners out on Shohei Ohtani.
It's done. Chris has said it's done. It's
the
not
chance
happening.
didn't work at the All-Star game. We did our best. And honestly, I don't think it was the fans. It was cheap ownership. But Ohtani, you want to talk about money? Mm-hmm. The reports from Passan it might even still been towards the end of the actual regular season, was that this is it. Like, this is the deal. Yeah. He doesn't want to do it again.
Oh, right. He wants to find his team, home, essentially. Yeah.
He's going to get $600 million.
I mean, he's getting 5 at least. I don't know if he's going to get 600. He'll definitely get 500. Easy. 600 is so much money, man. It's so much money.
He's what, 29, 30?
I have no idea. We did this last time. We're really bad at ages.
I'm so bad at ages.
We're so bad at ages.
My guess is 30. Looking it up now.
You're looking it up? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you got it. So yeah, if he's 30, that's too much money. I mean, he's an elder statesman.
He'll be 30 on July 5th.
Okay. You can't pay him $600 million.
We should move the 4th of July to July 5th for Shohei Ohtani Day. I might anger a lot of people there, but I think he deserves it.
That's really funny. I don't know about that, but I understand where you're trying to do there. A couple more things that actually happened, and then we'll get into like what could happen. Right. So Kimbrel going to the Orioles is a big deal for the Orioles.
Is he their closer?
I mean, if he's not, he'll be the best setup man in the bigs. I mean, it's a big deal. When Kimbrel goes anywhere, he helps that team win.
I laughed. I saw a tweet from Jay Hay, and I have to shout him out because they're everything we aspire to be. That's Baseball is Dead podcast. But Jay Hay basically said, Orioles fans are in for something when your closer role goes from Felix Bautista to Craig Kimbrel. It's quite the experience. But I think their setup guy, that Cano, was pretty good.
Yes,
so he'll probably bump over. Yeah, Kimbrel doesn't have it anymore. I mean, he's great. He was great.
He was great.
Ask Phillies fans; they didn't want him in the game.
I mean, I guess that's fair, but I still think it's something that the Orioles they're saying, okay, we want to stay relevant, and this is a piece. And
he's an upgrade over some of the guys as a middle reliever. He should not be. It's his role. He's gonna be setup guy, closer.
Yes, correct, 100%.
For better or for worse, I suppose.
And I think it's again, it's the Orioles saying we're moving, right? We're trying to make sure things happen. And then the other big one I think is Erod to the D-backs. So
I love what the Diamondbacks are doing.
Yeah.
I picked them to win the World Series.
And
however,
wrong.
I was wrong, but I called them cheap, but you're up against the Rangers, so that made it hard to root for in that regard. But they went and got Erod.
It's like 4 years, $80 million.
Yeah, $20 million a year, roughly. Yeah. It was particulars, but he slots in as 3, like maybe 2.
Yeah, I'd say
Gallen,
I'd say maybe 2.
Merrill Kelly is probably your 2. But don't forget that Fott he pitched like crazy in the postseason.
Yeah, that's postseason. You never know.
He pitched all. I mean, he didn't pitch well in the regular season.
I'm just saying there's a lot of guys that
listen. If that guy's your 4th starter and he continues to progress, he's like 23. He was their prospect.
No, I agree.
If he continues to progress, they seriously upgraded their pitching, which they needed to.
1,000%.
And then I alluded to it earlier in a much smaller deal, but they got Geno Suarez from Seattle, and he's a high strikeout guy, sure, but I couldn't even tell you who they had playing third base a few of the games. It was like I forget.
Longoria?
Sorry, Longoria. No, there was another guy. It was Longoria, and then there was another guy.
Oh, okay. We're terrible.
I'm not looking it up. I refuse to look it up.
It's not.
And
important.
don't anybody text me and be like, it was so and so. Yeah, I know. You're gonna look it up and then tell me who it was. I don't want to hear it. But my story is like Suarez is going to be better than Longoria was. So like they just upgraded there. They upgraded 2 big spots for the team that doesn't spend a lot, like roughly $30 million in those 2 guys. Those are good deals. I'm happy for them. I'd like to see them keep going. I don't think they should be done yet. They probably have a few more things to accomplish, but good for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely it's a good move. I mean, they said, hey, it's time for us to continue to move the needle, and they did that. So I think the only other like actual deal that happened was the Brewers signed that kid for 8 years, which good for them, you know. But I don't
great deal.
Yeah.
It's a can't lose.
Yeah,
it was like what, $80 million. Who cares what the final? It was $80 million. Right? That's the number.
It reminded me a lot of the deals that the Braves were making with.
Well, they're robbing people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like with Acuna and with Albies, like they paid him really young. Well, for a long time, and I mean, I think that's the right way to do contracts at this point, so that you're not getting $300 million contracts. You know,
in a team like the Brewers, again, I you could complain about them being cheap, but them, it's almost like that's the money that they're not being cheap; they just don't have it. Right. So they are the epitome of like a mid-market team. Mm-hmm. And, you know, again, 80 million sounds like a lot. And, you know, with the boosters and stuff, I think it could go over 100. But
I believe so, yeah.
If they're letting him hit the boosters, he's worth it, right? He's already there, right? So they need him to perform. And they put in, I believe it was 2 team opt-outs. I don't know after what years. But, like, you cut bait. Right, yeah. You know what? It didn't work. See you later.
Yeah, we tried.
Or trade him or something. You have the ability to get out under it, and I think that's worth it. Right, at some point, somebody will take a stab at a guy for $12 million a season and see if he's still got it. I think it was a good deal for them. I can't believe we're even bringing this up as a deal, but again, we're talking about Brewers and their bargain shopping. Wade Miley. Just
for a year.
Fine.
Yeah.
Ho hum. Cool. He'll be your 4th starter. He's a lefty arm. Yeah. Like, it's fine. Yeah. Whatever.
I mean, the strongest part of the Brewers was their pitching, so they made sure it stayed strong. And ish.
Yeah, for now.
I mean, he doesn't really I mean, it's true.
I mean, he pitched well.
Yeah.
But he's a 4 starter. If he ends up being he's the 3, right? Corbett or Burns, Peralta, him. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm missing. I mean, Woodruff's gone.
Yeah, Woodruff's gone.
And he really didn't pitch a ton last year anyway.
Burns is not staying either.
Yeah, well, he's good as gone. I firmly
completely think so. All right, so I think those are the ones that really matter. Again, it wasn't a mind-blowing winter meeting.
Oh, I'm going to cut you off. Pre-winter meetings, Noah went back to the Phillies. Nobody's surprised.
No.
You were a little upset. You thought he was going to the Braves. That was never happening.
I was hoping
it was never
we had a shot at it, because if there's a pitcher that's out there, I want to be a part of the conversation.
You're tied to everybody. All right. Sorry. I had to say that. It was just Aaron Nola, Phillies.
Right.
That was a move nobody was surprised about, but that happened well before winter meetings.
Yeah. Now, so the 2 big names that are still out there that everyone was talking about and will continue to talk about until they find destinations is going to be Yamamoto and Ohtani. Now, of course, the reports are saying that Ohtani is going to have a decision by the weekend, which we'll see if that's true. If it does, we'll follow us on all of our social media. We're Coaches Sons Pod on Instagram and Twitter. So we'll definitely be loud about it when it happens. But we'll see. I mean, it feels like he's going AL. I guess the Dodgers are a part of the conversation still. Maybe the Cubs, sorta. But it definitely feels like it's going to be an American League team.
Before we go any further, where's he going right now? Put it all on the line.
Put it all on the line?
Right now. Where is he going? I just gave you $100. What team are you betting that he goes to?
You gave me $100.
$100. You get to pick one team right now.
I'm going to. You're going to hate this.
Go ahead.
I want to say Blue Jays.
He's not going there, but it's the Dodgers.
I think the Blue Jays they see what the Yankees are doing. They have to go all in.
Sure, they could go all in all they want. Who the hell wants to live in Toronto? Drake? Sure, cool. Go hang out with him, I guess. Like, I mean, I don't know much. Is Toronto cool? And I'm sorry if anybody listens to this from Toronto. I'm sorry. I've never been there. I'm sure it's a really nice place. But you think that, like, the biggest superstar in baseball history wants to go live in Toronto? Like, does he...
I mean, I hear Toronto's a really cool city.
Is it, though? Like, it's not LA. He's lived it. Like,
here's the deal. I think you're correct. I think the Dodgers are the most likely team to land. Just like we're going to have the 2 evil empires, the Dodgers and the Yankees, buying everybody that matters. I don't want it to be the Dodgers. I hope it's not the Dodgers. I want it to be the Blue Jays. I'm okay with it being the Giants or the Cubs. That'd be nice too. I'd love to see, especially the Cubs. I think the Cubs would be really cool. But that's just because I have a soft spot for the Cubs and for Wrigley and all that, right? So, I mean, he could still go to the Angels.
That would be the biggest dud of all time. Like, insert fart noise.
Look, here's the deal. The chaos in me wants him to go back to the Angels because that would be just...
That's...
Everyone would be like, what the hell was all this about?
That can't happen.
It can't happen.
The league can't let it happen. They have to step in. If he was ever going to go back to LA, the league has to step in. I know they can't. That's just me being ridiculous. No kidding.
Yeah.
But it's just the idea. They just have to stop it. They can't allow it.
So my flag planted Blue Jays.
Dodgers.
Okay.
It's just they have the money. They've been trying to do this for 3 years now.
Blue Jays are going to bet the farm, and it's not going to pan out, but they have to.
If
they want to keep up, like their window is shrinking, and they see it, they have to do it.
So he's so secretive. So you don't have a good. Trying to think of how to phrase it. You don't have a good barometer of like what he wants, right? Like, does he care about? Does he like LA? Does he like the does he like the coast? Because I remember it initially, like Seattle was involved because they were on the coast. That was like when money was equal for the most part, and he got to pick wherever he went. Mm-hmm. It was like the coast thing. Like, yes, to your point, even though I hate it, like there is some safety net of LA, right? Or excuse me, the Angels, where they, are familiar with him and all of that. And then is money a factor, right? Like, the short answer is yes, right? You're like, oh yeah, sure. But is it? Like, because if it is, then Toronto's out immediately. He's going to get taxed like 50%. Imagine signing a $600 million contract and only getting half of it.
Right, yeah. I mean,
sure, not that California's cheap, but it's not 50%. I know that.
Right, well, I mean, and that's fair, but do we think that's what really is going to shape Ohtani? Because I think from what we know of him, he wants a legacy, right? Are you going to have a legacy in LA? I don't know. You're going to get lost in LA.
No, you are not.
To all the other greats
as a
that
lost,
played.
He's better than all of them.
Maybe.
You think in 15 years, if he goes to the Dodgers now, 15 years from now,
right,
there's somebody who'd be like, he was never better than Sandy Koufax. No, there's not one person that would say that.
I mean, they'll be dead by then.
Exactly. Well, that was kind of where I was going. But the idea that like you would, if he ends up on the Dodgers,
yes,
10 years, and he's there for 10 years. Mm-hmm. In year 11, when he retires, we're just making this up. When he retires, you put him as number one of Mount Rushmore because he's going to win 3 MVPs. He's probably going to win the World Series. You're being ridiculous.
You're forgetting about Dodger greats like Kershaw.
He's better than Clayton Kershaw.
Ooh, interesting.
He might even be a better pitcher than Clayton Kershaw. And Clayton Kershaw can't hit 50 home runs in a season. What are we talking about right now?
He definitely cannot. I mean, so also you're banking on the fact that he's going to stay healthy. I mean,
that's hard. I agree. I mean? There is some.
There's a chance when he pitches again, he may not be the same guy.
The man moves like an economic needle, right? Like he's not. It's not just like Ohtani and we're gonna sell out every game. He brings an entire country of people with him.
I completely agree.
Not physically, but like that's viewership. Yeah. Like you watch a game, like all those ads. When he pitches. The mounds are all in Japanese. Mm. The guy is his own marketing firm.
Yes, yeah.
He makes $50 million off the field.
Yeah, if not more.
Exactly. So like the guy, like I don't understand like where the confusion is with like. Is he going to fit, or our team's going to let him do what he needs to do? Yes, give him give him 5% ownership stake. I don't give a rat's ass. Get him on this team.
The messy deal, yeah. No,
figure it out.
I mean, I don't disagree. I think
he's the biggest superstar ever.
The teams are going to sell out for him for sure. But I don't think if it was just money, I don't think that's why it's taken so long. If it was just money. The reason it's taking so long is because it's not just money. And that's, again, going to the fact that we don't know what's inside his head. We're never going to really know what is going to be the deciding factor. And that's what makes it so interesting.
I think it's going to be a super complicated contract from like this is dumb baseball talk, but a super complicated contract from like a lawyer perspective.
Yeah.
Because teams aren't going to invest $600 million or whatever, 500. I don't care what it is. That much money in a guy and not be like, yo, like you need to be able to pitch this many innings by, you know, whatever. But at the same time, again, Ohtani, the guy, he marches to the beat of his own drum.
Yeah.
Right? Like before, I don't even know where these reports are coming from, because before this all started, he's like, I don't want anything leaking. You got the Blue Jays general manager talking about where he met with them, how he met with them.
Right.
The stuff's like you want to know who didn't? Well, excuse me, not until recently. Dave Roberts said something the other day that he met with them. I don't know if that was a leak, but it happened. You know who I didn't hear from? The Cubs.
Yeah.
Like
maybe that's why they win.
That's all you got, right? You're trying to read in between the lines. You're like, he's the most popular player on the planet.
Yes.
And he's the most mysterious player. Yeah. Like, again, like if LA is a thing, cool, but like I've never seen like a paparazzi. Have you ever seen a paparazzi photo of Shohei Ohtani?
No, yeah.
Ever?
Yeah.
Like besides like at an
him.
event he was physically supposed to be at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I've never seen that man like noticed in public, like a picture of that guy in public. So like I guess the limelight doesn't matter.
It doesn't,
because he's been in it his whole life.
Yeah. I don't think it does, and I think that's why this is such an interesting conversation, and I'm intrigued to see where it lands. So
all right. Dodgers, Blue Jays. Dodgers, me, Andrew, Blue Jays.
Yep.
See what happens.
It's going to be the Angels.
On to his countrymen.
So Yamamoto,
please don't tell me that was an attempt to like try his first name and then you stopped yourself.
I was almost going to try it. I looked at it and I was like,
that's
not happening.
That's insulting.
Anyways, so everything I see is that it's two teams, and it's the New York teams. It's the Mets and it's the Yankees. Again, going back to the evil dynasty that is the Yankees. If they land Yamamoto, oh my God. Like, it's just another feather in their cap. And so, to me, I feel like that makes the most sense. Because how can anyone look at the two New York teams and go, I'm going to play for the Mets? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, if that's who I've got.
And here's the deal. How many times, and I think it's going to come down to money here. The Mets can pay more. We've seen that. They've gotten rid of all those contracts, so they have the ability to pay more. But it's the Mets. You know what I mean? And they continue to screw it up. Verlander, Scherzer, all those guys, they bought the farm. They all left. They all got the hell out of Dodge, man. And Yamamoto's not an idiot. He's going to see that, and he's like, I don't want anything to do with it. He's going to the Yankees, and I'm just preparing myself for it, because I don't see the Mets make zero sense when it comes to that. Unless
I agree.
It's just money. If it's just money, he'll go to the Mets, but I don't think that's the case here.
I agree, and I'm going to play a little devil's advocate, but let's talk Yankees quick. I find it hard to believe the Yankees make a move for Soto and don't put their best foot forward for Yamamoto. And that sounds dumb to say because all the reports are that they're in on him. But like, there's no way they're going to get to the finish line and just be like, oh, we couldn't go that extra. Like, what's the difference? Like, I guess the agent's not telling you, or maybe he does tell you what the Mets are offering, or what you're up against. What's the cutoff? Yeah. Right? If I'm content with paying $300 million, just make up a number.
Right.
At what point do you say stop? Is it money? And the other thing, I thought I read it. I could have made it up, but I thought Yamamoto wanted to be with like another Japanese player or comrade, if you will. Mm-hmm. And Senga is on the Mets.
Interesting.
And if they're anywhere close to tight, that might be something. You know what? I was writing stuff down about this, and I was like, I just chuckled to myself. I was like, what's funny? Like when you say like, oh, he wants to play with the Japanese player, you could just throw out like, oh, Lars Nootbaar. Like maybe he'll go to maybe he goes to the Cardinals. It just, I don't know. I literally smiled to myself as I wrote that down, and I was like, that's kind of funny. I need to talk about that. But he's not going to the Cardinals. They did their own thing. But I guess it's between those. You know what? Yamamoto is a perfect candidate for mystery team at the last minute. So it's going to be like, he's close. It's Mets, Yankees. And then like, he'll end up signing Thursday. But on Sunday, it's going to be like, there's a mystery team involved.
Yeah.
And it's going to put everything and be like, oh man, like, and that's probably something we're going to talk about and be like, who is this team? Who could it be? Because it feels like, we're talking about these two guys. It feels like these two are the biggest like bricks for the foundation of this free agency or this offseason.
Oh, I completely agree.
Right? Like if the Blue Jays are really all the way this far in on Ohtani, think about how much money that is that they have to screw around with now, right? Let's say they don't get him. My assumption is they don't get him.
Right.
Now it's like, okay, well, I got $50 million that I can go re-sign Matt Chapman if I want to. I can go get, Blake Snell, whatever. You just go and make these extra deals, and all of a sudden you just clean up in the rest of free agency. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's 25 plus teams that are out on both of those guys. So like, why aren't they doing anything? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. This is going to end up being a really good segue actually to trade candidates. Yeah. Right. Like, what are those teams? Like, what are the Rays trying to do? Are they waiting?
The Rays, nothing.
You're just trying to get rid of everybody.
About the Rays.
But no, like, I guess I meant like in terms of timing. Like, are they waiting for these guys to sign to be like, oh, now you're really desperate because you just missed out on Yamamoto,
right?
And now you're going to pay me more for Glasnow.
1,000%. I mean, you're talking about Glasnow. You're talking about Burns. You're talking about. I mean, the White Sox have already started walking back Cease, right? And that's because they're like, no, we're not going to trade him. And then someone's going to miss out on Ohtani and be like, hey, you sure? And like, well, the price is higher now. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess that's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, it's all gamemanship, 100%. And the Dodgers, if the Dodgers don't get Ohtani, hide your wives, hide your kids. They're coming for everybody. They're coming for your pitchers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's how the Dodgers roll for sure. The Dodgers are going to buy 2 to 3 guys if they don't get Ohtani. Once those bricks fall, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But we have to wait for those gentlemen to make their decisions.
Yeah, and I'm okay for that. It just, to our point at the very beginning, it just makes for a super dull winter meeting, right? Right. Because you're like, if I get this guy, like, this is probably the only deal I make. How much more cap room do the Blue Jays actually have? Like, or are they just going to say, you know what, screw it, I'm going all in too? Mm-hmm. And you probably do, right? Like, you have Shohei, but it's just weird to say and actually have it come to fruition. It's like nothing's happening until these guys go anywhere. And you're like, that can't be true. There's so many guys of it, but it's just waiting, and it's weird. And I don't like it because I just want stuff to happen. Yeah,
you want that instant gratification, but I mean, it's posturing. It's everybody trying to get the best out of the deals they can. And I agree. I don't think we're going to see much happen. Now, this weekend could be fun as hell if everything starts happening. It could be just a domino effect, or those two fall, and then everyone is then like just playing the back and forth game. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's going to be an intriguing weekend. So what other names are out there that you want to make sure we're talking about? Because there's definitely folks that have been connected to trades and finding new homes.
I'm going to answer your question by asking you a question.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
How does it feel
to have Kelenic? Pretty great.
Now this is going to be even better that I'm asking it this way. How does it feel to know that there are so many pitchers on the trade market? The Braves are attached to all of them, but you're going to end up with none of them. You will get Jordan Montgomery, and you will like it.
I hate you so much. You know what? We have been attached to everyone. We were attached to Ohtani for a little while too.
Cease, Burns, Glad, like every single. I get it. Like, you're in that spot. Like, if there's ever a team in win now mode, it's the Braves.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that Burns is really intriguing. I'd love to land Burns, but I don't know if we have the capital to get Burns. I think the idea of having Cease and Strider, the Mustache Brothers, was entertaining. But I don't. With the White Sox saying they're walking it back, I don't think we want to pay that either. So now we have Glasnow, and maybe we'll get him cheaper than the others. But I think you're correct. I think the Dodgers are going to lose out on Ohtani because the Blue Jays are going to get him, and then all 3 of those guys we named are going to be Dodgers.
That would be wild. The other thing, and just thinking about hearing the Braves being attached to everybody.
Right.
It's like, what do the Braves actually have to offer in a trade that they're willing to get? Like, that's valuable. Like,
now?
Hey, here's Corbin. I'm the Brewers, right? Here's Corbin Burns. He could be yours for what? Vaughn Grissom? Like, I know Vaughn Grissom's in the trade, but like, who else you got? You traded a prospect pitcher to Seattle, which I don't know who he was to you guys. You traded all your dead weight to the White. You traded 7 guys to the White Sox.
Yep.
So like, what? You guys don't have anybody that like you can't trade off the major league roster.
Ozuna.
If somebody trades for that guy, they're going to be my least favorite team.
You asked, and I gave you a name.
Like, okay, here's Corbin Burns. Sure, I'll take Marcell Ozuna. He's like 39 years old.
Yeah,
I lied. He's probably like 36.
Yeah, I don't think he's even that old. I mean, it's a fair point. We don't have a lot, and we are gonna have to be a salary dump for somebody essentially. But I mean,
you already were.
Yeah, please do it. Like, I don't want to. I don't want Zach Greinke.
He's got to be retiring, right?
I don't know.
Ozuna's 33, by the way. I was 33.
So you're so bad at ages. You're the worst.
Not good.
And to be quite honest with you, my hope was Sonny Gray. That was my hope.
He's a Brave. Like,
no, he's not. He's a freaking Cardinal.
Cardinal, a St. Louis.
I don't understand that at all.
Like, all those deals happened. That might have happened before Nola. I don't know.
It did.
But, I'm not sure.
No. I think Nola was first. I think Sonny was second.
Just a quick touch on the Cardinals while they're somehow the topic of this conversation. Sonny Gray, like, okay, he's their ace now.
Yeah.
Wentz, Lynn, sure. Who else did they get? Kyle Gibson. Guy stinks.
Oh yeah, they signed for a 1-year deal. Yeah.
Got like $12 million.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's not good. Like, I don't know. He had an okay year. I guess.
They're trying. I mean,
and then they have Miles. Bear with me on his pronunciation. Michaelis.
Sure.
And then Steven. Like, they got better, I guess.
I mean, they did. They got better. I mean, you can't say they're
losing Jack Flaherty. I love Jack Flaherty, but he's been bad.
Yeah, he's not been great. But I mean, Sonny Gray was. I mean, I would say top 5 free agent pitchers, maybe top 3. You got. I mean, rule out Ohtani.
Free agent. Sorry,
correct.
Not available.
Free agent, right?
Yeah, I mean it's Snell.
It's Snell, Gray, Nola. Nola, Snell, Gray. Whatever. Top 3 for sure.
Snell's a Cy Young winner, bud. You can't put Nola ahead of him.
Well, I mean, his WAR's Nola's WAR's better than Snell's technically.
You just looked that up so you can.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's on the screen. But no, you're right. So Snell, who cares? It's top 3. And I was hoping we landed and we didn't. So now I'm getting desperate. And speaking of Snell, Dodgers.
Should be a
I hate this game so much.
Should be a Mariner. I mean, he was playing.
Oh, here we go.
He's from there. He was playing, I don't know, some video game with J.P. Crawford the other day. But guess what? We don't have the money to pay him.
I was going to ask.
So they do, but they don't. Like, their payroll's at like $130 million.
So what? And we need to wrap up soon. But like, what do you think the Mariners are going to do? Are they just going to trade away the farm and then start over? Is that what's happening right now?
They can't.
So they have to make moves. What's the move they make? Like, knowing the ownership being terrible, we've talked about a lot of names out there. What are they going to do?
Their infield is set.
Okay.
Which is bad. Luis Urias is going to play third.
Okay. We don't need a breakdown of them, Chris. What are they going to do? Like, who are they going to sign an outfielder because Kelenic's gone?
They need to.
Or are they going to get a pitcher?
They have to do both. They have to sign a bunch. But like,
interesting.
Well, last year they needed to sign guys. You got AJ Pollock and Tommy La Stella.
Yeah,
they weren't even on the team by like June.
Yeah, interesting.
So don't even get me started.
Okay,
we're going to add way too much.
So maybe Snell.
But Snell has a chance to be a Mariner. It's an actual thing that can happen. He does want to go there. Whether or not they pay him is another story. However, his numbers are really weird overall.
Yeah,
because he either wins the Cy Young, which he now has 2,
yep,
or he's just the middle of the road starter.
Right.
And there isn't an in between.
So you think you guys are going to end up with like Giolito then?
Dodger. I mean, that's the guy who they make a stud again.
Right. I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Talking about that guy needs a change of scenery like nobody I've ever seen before.
Yeah, I'm looking at all these names that are out there.
We got, again, the Braves are getting Montgomery.
Oh,
Jordan Montgomery to the Braves.
You know what? I don't hate it.
That's not a bad move. I'm just saying.
I don't hate it.
It's just kind of like a.
But it's not a needle move.
Glasnow, Burns, Cease, Montgomery.
If we can get.
Go ahead.
Hear me out.
Go ahead.
If we can get Cease and Montgomery, I will be over the moon. It's not happening, but let me pray.
That's fine.
Because I think
you got
Burns,
more hope than I do.
I think Burns and Glasnow are not happening. There's no way. I don't think we have enough capital. But we've obviously shown we can trade with the White Sox, so that's why I think that's possible. The other two teams are going to want to take our farm, which we don't have. So, but yeah, I think Montgomery's likely. I think, if I'm being honest, I think like some of those, unfortunately, Kluber, like we're going to pick up one of those.
About him.
Yeah, we're going to pick up one of those names that was okay 4 years ago to be our fourth starter.
You know who I think is going to be the dark horse? I wouldn't even tell you that. I didn't even mention this name to you.
Okay.
At the beginning, I told you I was going to wait or make you wait.
Oh, here we go.
The dark horse pitching signing of this offseason is going to be Marcus Stroman. He's going to sign like he's a weird dude. Sure. He's going to sign like a 2-year deal, maybe even a 1-year deal. And he's just going to come and he's going to come out every fifth day and he's going to shove it. He's going to have like a 3.5 ERA. He'll be your third starter, your fourth starter. If he stays healthy.
Why is this moving the needle? Do you think the Braves are going to sign him?
The Braves would be insanely better with Marcus Stroman on their team. I'm not saying he's a better. I think Montgomery's a better signing. But like
agree.
What I'm saying is like Stroman should be cheaper. But again, he's an odd duck.
What's the likelihood of us getting Montgomery and Stroman?
Well, there you go.
I'm okay with that.
But what I'm saying is you're not signing Marcus Stroman to be your guy.
No, he's not a guy.
He's a 3. You know what's funny is that Gray's now the ace. Sonny Gray was always my like, I'm fine with that pitcher type,
right.
Like my comparison.
Yeah,
right? So it's like, he's Sonny Gray.
Yeah,
and like that was always fine. And now he's like, he was a top 5 pitcher in the league last year.
Yeah.
So that's a tough comparison to make now. But I think Stroman is like the epitome of like your middle of the road, high upside guy who can come and change your team.
Yeah.
He can be. If he stays healthy, I think that's been the issue. He hasn't been severely healthy. But he, if I'm not mistaken, like burns a lot of bridges. I forget. I don't think he likes Toronto. Like I think he burned that. Like whatever went on with the Cubs, I don't think was good. I've seen. I think it was actually Seattle. Like somebody, this was his first free agency. Somebody was like, "Hey, come to Seattle." He's like, "Absolutely not." It was just like, okay, like at least I know, right?
Yeah.
Like don't read the reports. But he's my dark horse from a pitching perspective. We're talking a ton about pitchers because seemingly like that's what's available.
Correct.
Like if you look at the best hitters, like I'm just gonna read a list of hitters. And like I don't even, the sad part is like I don't even know where to start. It like is JD Martinez and Jorge Soler. They're both DHs. Like they might be Justin Turner's 38 years old.
Yeah.
Matt Chapman is a weird bat, platinum glove winner, but can't hits 230. Lourdes Gurriel, sure, he's fine. There's Teoscar. Somebody's gonna love that. I love Teoscar.
Where do we think he'll go?
I don't know. Yeah, I think him and I don't get them confused, but him and Gurriel are like the same player.
Right.
And that's not because they're both of Hispanic descent.
Right.
It's just that they're similar players in every facet. Like they similar average, similar home runs, that type of stuff.
Wouldn't like Hoskins be the biggest name though? You would think free agent.
But he's coming off an injury.
I mean, I know. Well, I guess okay. I'm sorry, Bellinger. Probably. So Bellinger and
shit. Can't believe what an awful job by us in forgetting Cody Bellinger.
Totally forgot about Bellinger.
He is not, dude. I don't. He's written here. I'm looking now at like my notes.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is.
28.
Oh, there he is. I have written down, I have Bellinger, 200 plus mil, and a bunch of question marks.
Yeah.
He was not listed with my outfielders because he was in the separate conversation he was supposed to be talking about with all the other guys.
Gotcha. Okay.
Missed that boat. So, with that said, let's do a quick Cody Bellinger spiel. What's his story? Because he's tied to the same teams.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Yankees are out. They got Soto.
Yeah.
If they missed out on Soto, Bellinger was a Yankee.
No, I completely agree with that statement. It doesn't make sense for them to. I mean, they got Verdugo too, who again,
whatever,
not same level,
but they got their big.
But
fish.
they've got their guys to play the outfield.
They go pitching before hitting.
1,000%.
Whatever.
So Red Sox.
Have they shown any willingness to do anything?
Not recently.
Are they? We haven't mentioned the Boston Red Sox once.
It's been a while.
What a fall from grace. Have they were tied to Yamamoto? Are they just out now? Are they still in on him?
I mean, I think they're. I know that they're looking for pitching. Right.
They're not tied to
the
any.
The reports are like they're casting a wide net on pitching, which sounds like they were on. They saw a number and no, we're out. You know what I mean?
They've cut down a lot on spending recently too.
They have. Yeah.
They got rid of Mookie. They got rid of Bogarts. They kept Devers somehow. But
Devers has got to be trying to get the hell out of there. Right?
He just signed a big deal.
I guess that's true.
You're in year 2.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
All right, Bellinger. He's gonna get close to 200 million. All right,
Giants.
I hate that.
I hate it too, but it makes sense, right? The Giants are they're going to have to continue to keep stride.
They're a weird team.
They are a weird team. They are because
they have money.
They do.
They do.
And they're part of the Ohtani sweepstakes still, technically. They're still heavily connected to Ohtani. So if they don't get Ohtani, Bellinger makes sense, right?
He works. If they could put him in center.
Of course they're going to put him in center.
He plays first too.
Nah, they're going to put him in center. Here's the deal. A lot of these names are backup plans. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
So, and again, it's as we've already beat to death, the first bricks have to fall before we find everything else. And so, but I think there's a lot of teams that Ohtani's going to go somewhere else, and they're going to be like, crap. Oh, Blue Jays, great example. If the Blue Jays don't get Ohtani, they sure as hell better get Bellinger.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
I wouldn't like that, but yeah.
I wouldn't like it either. Well,
I'm not a big Blue Jays guy, but yeah.
You seem to really hate on the Blue Jays. What did the Blue Jays do to you?
It's a weird Mariners thing.
Okay. Well,
they take over the stadium. It's a weird
that's fair.
It's a weird it's a weird fan base.
I mean, I really hate the Phillies, so I get it. You're allowed to hate a team.
But I hate the Astros and the Rangers.
That's fair. Okay, so there we go. We hate teams.
But Bellinger, because I think they lost Kiermaier. I think Kiermaier was their center fielder. I think he's a free agent. So, but again, the reason I ask how much he gets, I had 200 million written down.
I don't think he gets 200.
You want to know a comparison?
Sure.
Chris Bryant, 2 years ago, got 180 something.
Yeah.
I guess you could scoff at it. What the hell are the Rockies doing?
How old was Bryant when that happened?
28.
Was he 28? Okay, all right, never mind. Okay, because Bellinger's 28, so I just didn't know.
Bellinger's young when it comes to this type of deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess that's true. I think he can get, I don't know, 200 seems like a lot. My thought would be probably closer to the 170 range, but I mean.
Hey. How many years are you willing to give him? He's 38. You give him 8 years, 200 million? What's that?
Yeah.
20.
Math is real hard. Math is so hard.
Awful.
This is fine. I'm not going to help you. I'm just going to watch this happen. Currently, there's smoke coming out of Chris's ears.
What did I say? 8 years? Jesus. And 2. 4. Oh, my God.
Oh, this is
25 million a year.
There you go.
Good God.
There you go, buddy.
That's not bad.
You did it. I'm so proud of you. No, it's not bad. But
especially if you get it to 10, if you can get annual value to about closer to 20, it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I think he's again. We didn't mention him first, but he's one of the
qualifying offer is 20 million now.
It should be. Yeah, I think so.
But what I'm saying, okay, that's a qualifying offer. You're talking about an MVP adjacent type of guy.
Adjacent. I mean, it's fair.
Because he's not I don't know how the voting went.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy, real quick? I do not care about who finishes second, third, fourth in MVP voting until I'm looking up like an old timer stat to be like, oh wow, they finished second in the MVP twice. But like currently, I do not care. Like I don't want to know that Jose Altuve has like 3 third place finishes.
Okay, so anyways, we've talked a lot about all these players. To end this podcast, what is the wildest thing that will happen? Give me your wildest take. There's no way this is going to happen, but you think there's an inkling that it can, and boom, that's it.
We can we make a rule real quick?
Yeah, make a rule.
We have to weave out our teams. Our teams can't be involved.
Okay, yeah, it can't be Dodgers Dodgers or Yankees. It cannot be. I mean, you know what? I don't want it to be the Dodgers or Yankees. We talked about them enough. Can't be the Braves. Okay. Can't be the Mariners. Go.
Well, you're just cutting my legs from under me.
Nah, I take it back. You can use the Yankees or Dodgers because that's probably going to be mine. So,
the Baltimore Orioles land Cease or Burns. If I have to pick one,
yes,
Burns.
I want you to pick one. The Orioles land Burns.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I mean, that would be huge for the Orioles. By the way.
Know.
That would be huge.
That would be a deal. I'd be juiced up about that deal.
Huge.
Like I don't care anything about the Orioles, but you're like, man, like they don't have a guy. Or like, what is Grayson ready to be the one? No. But he's good.
Yeah.
I like Grayson. But they have. You want to talk about an under the radar team that has everything in terms of prospects. Mm-hmm. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
They are ready to make, like, if they're willing to make a move, it's Burns. Burns to the Orioles is my pick.
Okay, I hate this, but I think this is unbelievably plausible. Ohtani, Snell, Glasnow all become Dodgers.
You just said to leave out the Dodgers.
I took it back because I wanted to do that. Okay,
that's
so
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. No, okay, so let's go back. I think Clayton Kershaw goes to the Giants when they lose out on Ohtani.
I keep forgetting the Giants are in on some of these people. Yeah. That's not an unreasonable thing.
It's not, and it's one of those things that they need pitching, especially lefty. Kershaw wants to try something different, wants to stay close to home-ish. I mean, California. He goes to the Giants.
I like that game. I have more that I could think of. But
there's a lot more we could do, but we want to make sure we're keeping the time in consideration. So
Marcus Stroman ends up on the Astros.
Oh my gosh! Why the Astros?
Don't know.
I hate the Astros. I hate them so much. How dare you do that? Wait, what about
That's it.
No, that's it. Okay,
we're done. I had to sneak that in there.
Okay, that's fine. I
talked about him so much, and I think he's going to be a big deal. I think he works.
Okay, that's off the wall. Let's go for it. So, once again, thank you everybody for listening. Again, check us out, Coaches Sons Pod on Instagram, on Twitter, any of the streaming services you listen to a podcast. We'd love to get any feedback and all feedback. So please hit us up, talk to us. We're going to be as active as possible. We're going to be back at it again in a couple weeks. Every Friday that we can release something, we will. So let's just say twice a month on Fridays. So thank you guys for sticking with us. My name's Andrew.
I'm Chris.
And we're the Coach's Sons.